In this video, we're going to talk about standard error. So first off, what is it? The short answer is it's a decimal we calculate using this formula. The longer answer is that it's basically inherent error. Can I spell inherent? Maybe. Inherent error present in a study. So even if you've got good data, you've done your job to get rid of bias and all that good stuff, there's still just error that will occur. And how that's determined is by this formula. Okay, what do these things stand for? Number one is that N is your sample size. Okay, so I need to know, am I asking 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever that sample size is what goes down here. The P is your percent fact as a decimal. So what that means is that if, for example, we were told that in a sample, let's write it over here, in a sample of 100 students, 25% believed in aliens, 25% would be 0.25. What do I have with aliens? I don't know. It just seemed interesting. So there we go. Where did this fact come from? I just fully made it up, which you shouldn't do with statistics, but just go with it. Okay, so what would happen is that there is inherent error in this study. Okay, how that error is determined is by this formula. So what you do is you plug in your percent fact, which for this made up example is 25%. Right next to it is 1 minus P. So that would be 1 minus 0.25. And then we're going to divide by our sample size. And all of it goes under square root. Okay. I've had plenty of students that do fantastic writing this on their paper. But when they use their calculator to make the calculation, they screw it up. I'm not quite sure what they do, but let me go ahead and give you some pro tips. Number one is before you go to your calculator, actually figure out what this is. So this is 1 minus 0.25 is 0.75. So in our calculator, we are going to take 0.25, times it by 0.75, divide it by 100, and then take the square root. So multiply, divide, and then square root last. Okay, what you're going to get would be, all right, what you get is the square root of 0.001875. And then when I take the square root of that, I'm going to get 0.043, and it keeps going. We're going to always round it to 3 decimal places. Okay, so this is standard error. So in this problem that I've made up of 100 students that 25% believed in aliens, the inherent error in that study is 0.043, okay, or 4.3%. Okay, what do we do with that? We're going to use it in the rest of chapter 7, but for right now, we're just going to calculate it. So let me go ahead and practice doing one more. All right, here's our second example. In a random sample of 50 teenagers, 67% played video games. So if we want to know what is the standard error, okay, what I would want to do is I'm going to use that formula that's right up above in just one second, but I'm going to use N is 50. P is 0.67, and then because in the formula it finds 1 minus P, I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. 1 minus 0.67 is 0.33. All right, so here's what we're going to have. When I take this, plug it in up here, I'm going to get 0.67 times 0.33 divided by 50. So I'm going to calculate this and then take the square root last. All right, so let's see what I get. Okay, so I'm going to get the square root of 0.004422. You don't have to write this step, by the way. I'm just doing it for those who are having trouble with the calculation, so you can do a quick check. And then we're going to take the square root. And there we have it. It's 0.0664. So this is basically 6.6% error present in this study. Not knowing anything else about this study. Like, I don't know where these teenagers are from, what they're considering a video game, any of that stuff. But there's 6.6% error that's just inherently existing in this study. All right, I hope that helps. Good luck calculating standard error.